Hello my kings, queens, and fellow non-binary leaders, and welcome back to Nerdy Nekama. Today we're gonna continue with the second part of the Loud Ones Go Quiet challenge, also the Dreaded Silent challenge. Today's video includes the ships ShibaInu, EnoTana, and TsukiYama. And yeah, my YouTube members decided that this was the challenge I should prioritize for the non-poly ships. I'm super excited for this, and I kinda can't believe that it's been almost 11 months since the first part of this, so almost a year. I am so sorry, I'm so disorganized. But yeah, I hope you're still here for this. I hope you will like it. Let's go. Alright, I'll add it to the file and we'll have an eye on it. See you tomorrow, Sato-san. Inuoka gave a small bow and waved them goodbye as they left. He sighed a little, exhausted after a long day of work, but content nonetheless. His characteristically bright smile didn't fade as he quickly gathered his things, added the newly discovered peanut allergy to Sato-chan's file, and wished his colleagues a good evening. It wasn't until he left the premise that he turned on the notification on his phone again and swiftly sorted through everything he had missed. Curiosity struck him as he saw the new group chat that he had been invited to by Kuro out of all people. The description quickly gave away what it was about. A challenge. He shook his head slightly as he read through the replies, watching as more and more people had been dragged into it, including him. He didn't know much about Atsumu, except that Hinata was rather fond of him as a setter, and that quiet was one of the last adjectives one would associate with the blonde. Interesting that he, out of all people, would suggest this. As he checked who else was in the chat, he found himself wondering whether some of them would fail simply because keeping quiet in and of itself would prove too challenging for them. He for sure couldn't imagine Bokuto or Karasuno's ex-libero lasting long. As he sat down on the train, his thoughts wandered to Yuki. Would he notice? He was almost certain he would. The libero was always perceptive, but how would he react? Was he himself even still, well, loud enough for it to be much of a change? He quickly tapped a reply in the chat that he would participate and couldn't resist teasing Liev that he probably wouldn't even last an hour, his lips tucked up in a smile as he watched the chaos unfold anew. Before he had even opened the door, excited barking greeted him from the inside as Hiyori jumped up behind it. He chuckled. As soon as he stepped inside, the ShibaInu greeted him excitedly, and he quickly kneeled down to give him the deserved welcome home scratches. Oh, did you do a good job guarding a home? The best. ShibaYama smiled at him from the doorframe, and upon hearing his voice, the dog swiftly turned around and glued itself to his side again. Yori was fixated on Yuki whenever the other was around, like a guard dog protecting him wherever he went. Inuoka might have been envious that he was favored by the puppy if it hadn't been so incredibly adorable. Good. He attempted his best to make his voice sound more monotone and indifferent. He only slowly walked up to ShibaYama to give him a gentle kiss on the cheek before quickly turning away again. I plan to make dinner in a bit, and I can do that. You should still rest. He frowned, his response coming automatically. After ShibaYama's meeting with Kenma and Yako had been rudely interrupted, resulting in a fight, he was still recovering from the slight concussion he had gotten upon Inuoka insisting he take a break to heal. That's actually why I wanted to ask you if you could take Yori for a walk today. I intended to, but I fell asleep. I'm sorry. Inuoka quickly shook his head, the challenge long forgotten as he saw the hint of insecurity welling up in the libero's eyes. It's okay, I'm glad you could sleep some more. How about I'll take him on a walk now and bring takeout on my way back? So, I can cook. I'm not bedridden. Okay, you're right. How about soba then? I think we still have everything we need for that. Yuki reciprocated his smile brightly as he nodded, making Inuoka's heart flutter. He told the group chat he doubted someone like Bokuto or Liev could pass this challenge, yet never considered how difficult it'd be when Yuki looked at him like that. as if he could ever bear not reassuring his boyfriend immediately. I failed. Couldn't worry Yuki while he was still recovering. But also, how's he doing? And you said I would fail. Well, we'll see about that. He's doing okay, don't worry. I just didn't want to interrupt his healing. Fair, kinda. We'll see how it goes for the rest. Tanaka rushed out of the house first thing in the morning. The moment he woke up, finding Enoshita sleepily attempting to make toast, he knew he was doomed. He almost immediately rushed over, his chest swelling with pride and adoration at how adorable his boyfriend was in the morning. It made him forget all about the challenge for a split second before he caught himself. He couldn't leave Nishinoya hanging like this. Quickly he turned around and gathered his things. He didn't need to be at work for another hour, but if he stayed, he was almost certain he would fail. Where are you going? The slight rasp in Eno's voice and the silent plea underlining his words he failed to hide this early in the morning made his heart flutter. It wasn't fair. He was careful not to face him, sure that seeing the adorably confused expression on his partner's face would be his downfall. To work. It's too early. Why hurry like that? His tone had turned accusing, and Tanaka's heart sank as he rushed to come up with a good excuse. Yeah, but we didn't get the organization done completely yesterday, so we gotta make up for it now. Sorry, see you later. He wasn't sure this was so much a be quiet challenge as it was avoidance, but he couldn't think of another way to do it effectively. Wait, your breakfast. You need to eat. The door had already closed between them. Tanaka braced himself, taking a deep breath before stepping inside as he came home from work. He managed to keep up the quiet act during the day by answering Chikara's messages only one-wordedly during his lunch break, and was prepared to continue throughout the evening. The exhaustion after getting work started extra early and staying a little longer than usual aided him in appearing less energetic. He hoped it'd be enough. Inside, no one greeted him at first, and he found Chikara at the living room table, hunched over his laptop, presumably focused on some patient files. He didn't interrupt him. Welcome home. Tanaka gave a brief nod. He didn't miss how Enoshita's brows pulled together in a frown, and suddenly the laptop snapped shut. Okay, that's it. What is going on? Oh. He was angry. Nothing. Nothing? Sure. I bet nothing is a good reason to ignore me all day and avoid me. Chika, don't even bother coming up with an excuse. All was fine yesterday, so why the sudden change? Are you mad at me? Did I do something? What? No, of course not. Because if so, we have to talk about it, Ryo. I can't fix it if you won't talk to me. Please. Tanaka's heart broke a little as he heard us plea and saw the mist growing in his eyes. That wasn't his intention. Quickly, he crossed the distance between them. Hey, no, that's not... I'm not mad at you. Then what is it? Are you sick? Injured? You didn't eat breakfast this morning. Are they overworking you? Did someone... No. Shh. It's none of that. Don't shush me. He grumbled the last words, but begrudgingly allowed Tanaka to wrap over his arms and detangle them from where he had crossed them before his chest. I promise, it's none of that, and I'm not mad at you. I would have told you. Though you might be at me when I explain. He sheepishly looked away and rubbed his neck. Ryunosuke, what did you do? Nothing. I mean, nothing too bad, but Noya invited me to a challenge? He felt Inoshita's gaze bore into his skull. What challenge? To be quieter. To see if our partners would notice. It was silent for a moment until Chikara let out a huff, and suddenly 2 arms wrapped around him. Of course I would notice. I know. That's why I had to leave. I knew I wouldn't be able to go through with it if I looked you in the eyes. I can't stop myself when I'm reminded what a wonderful, gorgeous boyfriend I have. He huffed again, his face hidden against Tanaka's side. Don't think flattery will get you out of this. I'm still mad at you. Would it help if I made dinner? A little, perhaps. Tanaka laughed, and with Inoshita still clinging to him, began to work. The morning started off as usual. At least, it should have. No matter how much he looked at it, there was no obvious reason to assume something was different. Yet, it felt odd. It took Tsukishima till he sat opposite to Yamaguchi at the kitchen table, eating breakfast, to notice that the silence from the other didn't seem to be mere tiredness. True enough, Yamaguchi was not exactly an early bird, but usually he'd slowly wake up over the shared meal. Today, however, he just half-heartedly nibbled at his food and answered Tsukishima in short, cut-off sentences. The blonde frowned as he observed him, a first spark of worry blossoming inside his chest. Is everything alright? Just tired. No, that wasn't it. Tsukishima knew what being just tired looked like on Yamaguchi. This was something more. Don't you have to go? He nodded begrudgingly and began gathering his things. Tsukishima didn't fancy attracting Kiyotani's wrath by being late for practice. Turns out, it wouldn't have mattered either way. This beggar got fed up with him not even halfway through their first practice match after the warm-ups and serving practice had been done. He practically growled at him every time his timing on the block was off, or he let a ball through that he usually would have stopped. It only irritated him further, and much to his dismay, their side of the team lost their first set. Hey! Tsukishima lowered his water bottle, sending his teammate an annoyed glare over the edge of his glasses. What? Listen, I know you suck, but usually you don't suck this badly. Get your shit together or tell me what's up. It struck a nerve, and Tsukishima was tempted to just provoke him back. It was a fairly common occurrence between the two, though usually it was in rather good faith to fire each other up. They had become something like friends, at least good colleagues. Tsukishima could practically hear Yamaguchi chastising him for dismissing his teammates' concern for him so easily. Even if it was mad dog. He sighed. Tadashi has been acting off this morning. It bothers me. The other seemed to think about that for a moment, and Tsukishima half expected him to dismiss it and demand he focus on the game. Yet, he didn't. He just crossed his arms and stared at him intensely. So, what are you gonna do about it? Tsukishima gritted his teeth. He tried his hardest not to interpret it as an accusation. Not sure yet. The other sighed and let himself fall heavily onto the bench next to Tsukishima. Shiga acted odd recently too. He has off days occasionally, so I picked him up from work to make sure he's okay. I think he appreciated it. Shows that I care, you know? Shocking. Didn't know you could think that far. The other chuckled. Yeah, well, I didn't think you'd be so helpless the moment your sweetheart is cold to you. TsukiYama just half nipping at his water bottle again. It doesn't sound too bad of an idea, actually. Well, I'm only telling you because I can stand my middle blocker simply giving points to our opponents, so get your head back in the game. TsukiYama nodded. It helped having a plan in mind, and even more when on the next set they were assigned different teams and he could annoy Kiyotani with his newfound determination. He had stopped at a kiosk on his way to Yamaguchi's workplace to get him some of his favorite snacks. Through the window, he saw him chatting lively with his co-workers as they began closing the store. It made his heart warm seeing him happy again, and much more like his usual self. When he spotted him, he waved, and Yamaguchi quickly reciprocated the gesture. He seemed to hurry to finish up after that and meet him outside. Kei, what are you doing here? He slung his arms around the blonde, who placed a gentle kiss on his hair before separating them and presenting him with the snacks. I wanted to surprise you. You seemed a bit off today, so I thought this might help. Surprise did indeed flash over Yamaguchi's face before a blush added to the overall picture and hid his face against his chest. TsukiYama chuckled. Let's go home. Yamaguchi nodded against his chest, and together they walked hand in hand down the street. Thank you so much for watching to the end. That means a lot to me. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on any future content, including the next part of this. On that note, tell me which ship should do this challenge next. There's still a lot that I plan to include, so yeah, tell me which one I should prioritize in the comments, and tell me what your favorite quote from this video and your favorite part, like ship-wise, was under the pinned comment. That would mean the absolute world to me. A special thanks as always goes out to my nerdy neckos. Special thanks to Swan of Melody, who just joined. They support this channel so much. Thank you all so much. And they got this video in exchange a couple of weeks in advance. If you watching right now are not nerdy neko yet, but that sounds interesting to you, check out the join button under this video. Here are my other social media, and here is more content, including more challenge content. So check that out too if you like. And now if you want to find an amazing day. Bye everyone.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be